We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war.
Okay. What's up, bro? What's your best tips to building a high value Instagram? So I think this also comes down to, looking at what are the vast majority of people doing on Instagram. They got pictures from back in high school still up there. They got pictures just arm in arm with their buddies. And high value people want to hang out with other high value people. So there's really two paths. There's one path of basically, like I said, the long, hard path, which every man I think should be taking, is building value, becoming a man of value by building value and creating, whether it's a valuable business, whether it's, a big YouTube channel, or, creating really anything of value, creating a lot of wealth. And through that, you get access to scarce resources. What do people value? Things that are scarce, things that are rare. People value things that are rare. So if you have access to a lot of things that are rare and you show that through social media, then people are gonna be like, oh man, this person has a lot of rare things. They must be a rare human. So I want to be friends with them. Now, there's different ways to achieve things that are rare through social media, though. Like you can also, for example, I always tell people in Tribe Accelerator, you can get what you want through other people. You can get almost anything you want through other people. I was saying the example earlier about like the guy not getting, offered private jets here and there. But if you're a guy and you might not have a lot of money, but you have value in other ways. For example, you could just be really funny. Like there's so many guys out there that are super funny. They might be completely broke, but they have a friend who's a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, and they get flown around on private jets all the time because they're just friends. And there's value that you can provide to people, certainly beyond monetary value, beyond money, right? You could be an incredible artist. You could be an incredible painter. You could be, you could just be a people connector. Like you can know a lot of people. This is one of the reasons that party promoters get access to a lot of cool experiences you might see on Instagram. Like there's one promoter that I don't know who he is personally, but he had probably one of the most insane. I know he's not that wealthy, but he's popular and he knows a lot of the right people. And because he connects a lot of the right people to the right people, he can get access to things. Like, for example, he was in Ibiza and he had this absolutely insane house. Like, I mean, I stayed in some amazing villas, but this place must have been maybe like a $75 million house in Ibiza. Like it was absolutely enormous. It literally looked like a Nobu. Like it looked like a resort. And so, you can get things, you have to create value. And in Tribe Accelerator, I basically show guys how to create value in ways that you might not necessarily understand. Or you might not that you wouldn't understand, but that you wouldn't think of on the first go. It's my secrets that I've learned and tested. But long story short, on Instagram, and let me give you another tip. So a lot of like the vast majority of people aren't telling a story about who they are on Instagram, and they ruin the story by looking directly at the camera. As an example, right now, I'm talking to you through this screen, and I'm looking at you, and the narrative that's being told is, oh, Arlen is on YouTube Live telling a story to the people that are watching the video. That's the narrative that's being told, okay? But what if I just, instead of looking like this, I shifted my gaze like this, and maybe I had, a mic stand that was hanging down like this, and maybe I just had a friend come over and just start asking me or reading me the questions here. Slightly different narrative because now I'm talking off like this, I'm having a conversation, and in your mind, it might feel a little bit less personal, but you'd probably view me as a little bit more high value because who gets interviewed? High value people, right? Now, I like doing it like this because I like to build a connection. And I also honestly don't have someone, I didn't think to have someone interview right now. But sometimes I do get interviewed. And when you get interviewed, you're perceived as more high value because only people who are important get interviewed. So the hack with that is you can basically have people look in on you and create different narratives. When you look at the camera, you break the narrative. People will post pictures of themselves on a yacht, but they're looking directly at the camera and they're like, check me out, I'm on this yacht. Or maybe they'll be in they'll be, I don't know, somewhere cool, like some exclusive club, and they're looking at the camera smiling like this. And what that communicates to the person watching is, I don't go to clubs that often, or I don't get invited on yachts that often. Look at me, I'm on this yacht. That's the psychological thing that's being communicated to the audience, as opposed to, if you look away, people don't necessarily realize that you know a picture is being taken of you. And even though it's suspension of disbelief, like, you know that they know that a picture is being taken of them, and they obviously posted it. But by just looking at a picture of someone who's not looking directly at the lens, it creates a story that is more believable, and you can control what that story is. When you watch any movie, do the actors look at the camera? No, because it would ruin the suspension of disbelief. It would ruin the fact that you know that it's an actor. Okay, but because you're watching The Great Gatsby, The Great Gatsby is not looking directly into the camera. If you're watching any superhero movie, how weird would it be if all of a sudden Spider-Man was like, "Hey guys, how's my acting?" and then goes back into the film. So one thing you can do to create more high value Instagram is to not look at the camera all the time. It creates a bit more of like a narrative and almost like a celebrity-like effect when you aren't necessarily looking at the camera in every single picture. So there's a little tip for